How do I define success? Well, I initially didn't start in the marketing, branding communication or advertising field. I had this, when I was younger, I had this idea that I wanted to do the same kind of work as my father, which is doing foreign affairs. And I went to a university that was going to take me in that direction. But what happened was throughout my high school years, as well as my university years, I worked. I put myself through college and university, and it kept taking me towards marketing. So, and the thing was, I was really good at it too. And so although I started in one direction, it shifted into a different field. And by the time I moved to Thailand, although I had started with the Department of Commerce, I later moved into private industry and became head of marketing for a multinational in an American telecommunications company. And I did those things where I was, in the capacity of head of marketing, head of comms, head of brand, head of advertising for around 4 or 5 different companies within the span of 15 years before starting my own first company. So that's what happened. And in terms of how do I define success, I think when I was younger, I was really competitive, and my parents, being immigrants, set the bar really high. And I felt that, that's what I needed to compare myself to. And I found that it was always outdistancing me. And as I got older and understand myself much better, what I do now is I try to outdo myself in my last milestone. So personally, I set myself little goals and try to outdo that last goal. Even little small things sometime, okay, so I got a window of 30 minutes before the next meeting. How many emails can I just process and answer before that meeting starts? That kind of thing. So I can be a bit competitive with myself, and then I'll go back and have a look like, okay, with that window time space, I was able to clear out this many. And last time, I try to improve my track record, let's put it that way. So I hope that was useful.
To feel that I'm successful at work, it's important to feel that I'm contributing something, that I'm helping build something. I take responsibility, I take ownership, I take pride in this. My job is largely focused on making sure that everybody else has the tools, the resources, the knowledge, the understanding they need to do their job well. So to execute, to deliver ASEAN Access, I'm very much a behind-the-scenes worker. So if I see people around me who I've been training, mentoring, offering all of the support, if I see them doing their jobs well, getting the results that they want, basically, for me, this means that I'm also doing my job well. And this, again, gives me more pride and more drive to continue pushing forward.
How do I define success? I think success is very relative. I think we've been taught that success is quite linear, but I used to study impact evaluation and what impact evaluation looks like in spaces of like science policy interactions. And so it's something that you want to measure the impact of something that's quite distant from the final outcome. And what I learned is that that's not an exact science. And I think it comes back to, for our own definitions of success, you don't really know what the payoff of your actions are going to be, So I think what really drives me in these moments is when I get to see like the payoff from something like connecting people, and when those educated guesses that you're making of like how people might benefit from working together, when it actually ends up working out. But I think in my type of work, it's really quite ephemeral, and it's hard to pin down. And sometimes I think that it's a bit undervalued, the skill of connecting dots and spanning boundaries. So I'm always trying to make sure that I don't undervalue those skills, and that I stay true to myself, and a success will come in whatever form that looks like.
person in terms of like success. For me, it's successful when my students pass the exam. For me, it's been very successful when students want to join my classes and my sections are full, because they can choose, they have the ability to choose the teacher, and this carries on. So for me, that is success for me, that I feel content what I'm doing and I feel I've given it my 100%. It's just like, when you look at your child, there is no manual to bring up a child, but somewhere you figure out, yes, you did a good job. You can't be perfect. There will always be 20, 30, 40% scope of improvement. So in their way, for me, success is like that I know and I can feel and sense that I have done a good job and I'm relaxed and I'm happy, and that's success for me.
The definition of success in my dictionary actually comes from client success. If clients are successful, I'm successful. In terms of financially successful, it means I've done a great job. If my clients are happy with me, I'm happy. I know that I've done a great job. So that is a very important aspect for me. Clients' financial success. And what drives me is also clients, right? You want to exceed clients' expectation and, give that wow experience. Back in the banking days, they say if you want to have a successful financial career, keep one thing in mind. Maybe it's a bit orthodox, but customer is king, right? If you can appease the king, you can be really, really happy, because if the king is happy, right, so are all his disciples and his people, right? So that was a motto we always had at the bank. Until today, that's what drives me. If the customer comes first, right? So whatever I can do that is within my capabilities, I will do it for my client. And if my client is happy, that's my financial success.
If we would like to define the success in our possessions, I would say that for corporate level, we may think about financial value. But for me, myself, like I mentioned, I would compare between financial and social impact. Like for Botanica, our core value is to feed the next billion. So this is the key, the theme that our team have the same focus to improve and produce the product to feed the next billion with a natural process. And for me, as their co-founder and also the leader of this business, I would always empower my team to let them become the next successor. I would like them to have the stage to try out, to be themselves, and to do as much as they want. And we share all the ideas together. And the last thing is I would like everyone in my team and my people surround myself to have their work-life balance. And I would like them to create this mindset. I like them to work and travel together, work and play together, because work-life balance is allowing every person in organization to love their work, and then that they see their work as a fulfilling, as a part of their life, and then they can produce, they become the new version of themselves.
The good thing to success in this career, especially for my career, I think that the skill of keep learning is very important, because once you are in the top of the organizations, you work with a lot of different age of generations, right? And sometimes you can learn a lot of the new generations. Like for example, our export team, actually they are all a new graduate. So sometimes I try to teach them by going to the business trip with them. So we meeting customer together, but I also impress how they find customer information in advance before we meeting customer. So I think that's something that we share what we learn. So also they have very good in gadgets, right? Like you guys are doing a lot of like YouTube and then social media. So now I also like let them do it and then try to learn from each other.
So when I was recruited to work for the Enterprise Europe Network in the UK in Oxford, it was basically, I was the only person there. I was recruited to build up this service, to build up this office. Enterprise Europe Network had many offices in the UK at that moment, but none in Oxford. And as I was essentially alone in this big office, nobody cared about what I was doing or what this service was offering to businesses. So I spent 18 months of having to push and pull just to force my foot through the door, to get a conversation with people, to get the message across, to find clients, businesses who want to use this service. So it was a lot of like uphill against the wind in the rain. However, in 18 months' time, I had achieved and actually overachieved all of my targets. And by that point, I had stopped calling people. I had stopped pushing my foot in people's doors. People were calling me at one point and wanting to talk to me and see how I can help them and how I can work with them. So that was a massive turnaround. And that was also the reason why this small, at that point, one-person office was actually appointed the coordinating office for something like 18 plus offices of the Enterprise Europe Network in the UK. There were obviously certain political forces in play, but for those to come through, the meat had to be on the bone. And I can very unashamedly say that it was my doing. It was me pushing very hard for 18 months and not taking no for an answer to make this office from a one-man band that nobody's really interested in to an award-winning, overachieving leading office in the UK for the Enterprise Europe Network.
I'd love to share a significant achievement or milestone in my career. Actually, I had one recently, so I'll get to that. But I think one thing I didn't realize when I was first starting out is that sometimes change takes time. It seems so obvious, but like it's not always one brick laid after another to build a foundation. Sometimes it's like nothing until it's everything. And I had this really nice call with a colleague like just a couple of days ago that I worked with at Our Land, Thailand. And yeah, I had shared some notes like years ago on like an inclusion strategy that I really thought we should implement. And then it was like, it just wasn't clicking, you know, it just wasn't working. It kind of laid there dormant. And then just like one day I just get this call and it's like, boom, like all those concepts are understood, like mindsets changed. And it was just like, it was just so rewarding. And I think sometimes, yeah, we want to see the product. We want to see the product of our work like immediately, even if it's just like small parts, like incremental, but it's not always possible. So I think it was an achievement in the way that it happened, but it was also an achievement in the way of a reminder to just keep doing those little things and kind of put the achievement mindset behind, because it'll come at some point. It'll come back, but you don't actually have to worry about it.
Oh, there are many things that I'm proud of. So I've been honored to receive a few financial awards in my industry globally, which is the $1 Million Roundtable. It's actually the top financial award for any financial professionals. And it's only a recognition given to the top financial professionals worldwide. So I've been receiving that. This is my 6th year. So my goal is to get 10 years so I can get a lifetime. So that's my big 10-year plan. And then at the same time, I've also received the Regional Financial Award, which is called the Asia Pacific Financial Services Award. Actually, I was just in Singapore 2 months back to receive this award. And I've received it since it was established. That was 4 years back. And another locally award by the Thai Financial Association, which is called the National Agents Awards. And I've been in the top 100 agents in Thailand given that award. And that's also been running for 5 years consecutively. So in my 7 years at Independent, yes, I've received a lot of awards and I'm proud of, but that's never possible without the backup of your clients, you know. So I do have to thank my clients, my family, my colleagues for getting all these big achievement awards in my career.